Uh, Thanks for coming, guys. Obviously, last week, hard fought game, physical, and guys competed hard. And, several injuries. Mark was obviously one of them. 3 days after that, encouraging news is that all those guys that are banged up are going into a bye week. We're all into a bye week, right? So today was bye week practice number one, and it was exciting for us to get out there with. I think we ran 56 plays today out there with our guys, the twos and the Devo guys, and guys that haven't been in there a ton. So it's been a lot of fun for us to get those guys out there. None of the ones got any reps today. All injured players are working hard to get back. Don't know Mark's status yet. It's cloudy. We don't need to know though because it's a bye week. So next week, same bad time, same bad channel. You'll have the head ball coach standing up here. He can tell you more about it as we find out more. But excited to be into a bye week. We needed it. 4 weeks of camp, 5 games straight, some physical games, and been improving. And excited to get back and work with some of the twos and threes as the season goes on. We're going to need those guys. They're going to be in prominent roles. So it's a good week to take a breath and regroup. And with that, yeah. Hey.
Regarding Mark Hank,
Yeah.
where's your confidence level at with Hank, especially having full experience and
Yeah.
he didn't play this last weekend?
Yeah.
I guess what did you think about how he played, given that he was thrown in a tough situation?
It's tough. I'm sure he'd tell you he wish he played better. I think we all, everyone does. His feet were a little giddy. Made a couple big throws. Missed a couple. I'm sure he wants back. He went in there. He was going to the right places. We just got to get his feet underneath him. He has such great feet, calm feet. It's one of the reasons he had a pretty good spring and into fall camp. And we got to everyone's feet. Mark's feet look like that on week 1 too. So and Mark's feet have been improving. Last 3 games, I feel as if I think he's like at 70% completion. He understands it. He's comfortable with it. Any quarterback that goes in there for the first time is going to be. They just need to calm down and relax a little bit. And I thought he did that. He made some good plays, but he's got to improve. And him and Heck had a great day today. Heck hasn't been here very long, but he's getting more comfortable with what we're doing. And so it's been back to this week. This is a fun week for me to have those guys take a ton of reps and see where they're at. And they both need them because they don't get as many. The other guys have been on the scout field. These guys are getting a ton of reps this week, and just to see the improvement that we're going to need, if he's in the game.
Chad, that's good. When registered, regardless of who's the quarterback,
Yeah.
yards per carry is down quite a bit this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, the explosives aren't there, but what do you attribute that to thus far, and how do you get that going in the second half of the season?
Yeah, we do. I didn't think it'd be as explosive. Wanting some of those to come out of the pass game. We've had more explosive pass plays than we had last year because every year is going to be different. The inconsistency, to nobody's fault in the running back situation, has been interesting. They've all been working hard. We've literally had a different guy start, I think, every single game. I think we finished last game with only 2 that were healthy. So. And one of those was Kamari, who was hurt early and didn't come back till game 3. So just getting the consistency with the O-line and the running backs, I think that's going to help a ton. And as we become better at throwing the ball, it's going to take more and more pressure off the run game. So I think points are up. All the stats, as I look at them, you really don't stop halfway and look at them. But this would be the one time to peek at them. And you peek, and we're a little up in this, we're a little down in this, we're a little up in that. So it's hard to judge other than. We got to, figure out which backs are going to stay healthy, and have some consistency there. They're all doing a good job. I really felt like last game was kind of a really good football team, a team that was in the college football playoffs last year, and it was going to be a Jazz and X physical, but they were both hurt, so it made it a little curveball there, because it was just going to be a grind. They're really good up front. I forget where they were ranked, like number 2 in the country on defense, and. So yards were going to be there, but they were going to be hard to come by. Broken tackles, get the pile pushing forward. I thought Kamari did a really good job a couple times pushing that pile. Jazz and X kind of naturally, that's their go-to. So we just need more consistency in that. I think that'll help us get some more explosives in the run game. And then obviously the pass side of things is helping the whole offense and the points part of it, which is up a little bit because we can be more balanced, which is the goal.
Tom Kicker.
Hey, Tom.
Just wanted to
Love your shirt, by the way.
thank you.
Go Cubs.
Okay.
Today's the day. Isn't it today? Yeah. Sorry. I'm in the middle of the season, but I did see that, and someone told me they start. It starts today, right? Like, all right, good for them.
Has Reese Fantasy got back out to practice with you guys? Do you expect him back for Wisconsin? And just kind of an overview of the receivers and how they've developed so far this year.
Yeah, we have right now. We have, and I'm proud of this. And it we're nowhere near where I'd like to eventually be, but we have 15. I think 15 receivers. Running backs, receivers, tight ends that have 2 or more catches right now. Like we're spreading the ball fairly well. Obviously, I would love Reese to be one of those guys. I think is going to start practicing next week. He's been doing more and more. I think they have him running a little bit right now. So he's close. That's all I can tell you. None of the decisions have to be made during a bye week, but we're hopeful that he'll be back soon and getting a big target like that on the backside of he plays the X receiver, so he'd be a huge advantage to us to have a guy like that. But Sam's doing a great job in that spot, and he's getting better. And I think you just see the receivers as a whole. We still got a lot more to work on. I think we're running routes. Our depths are the proper depths. They're making plays. I'd like to see more run after catch. It's something we haven't seen yet, but it's something that we're building to. It's always the last thing that comes, right? So I'm proud of that room. That room's done a good job in creating some separation, making some plays. Obviously, Dayton made the big play at the Rutgers game, and we also have to put them in situations to make those plays. We've had opportunities to take some shots down the field that we've checked down on. And that's something I know Mark talked to you guys, but I got to be more aggressive. And I'm trying to call it aggressive, but you got to make the decision and take that shot. And he's starting to get more comfortable with that, and that's been fun to watch his growth as a passer. He's always a good manager. He's a great runner. But to see him, his feet and what they did the last couple of weeks, just to continue to develop him as a passer, it's been fun because he's a great kid. He works hard. He wants to learn, and so it's been fun to see what he's been able to do and just continue to put them in spots to be playmakers. Because if the ball's not thrown to you, you really can't be a playmaker.
Ethan Petrik quad city times. I'm curious, because Mark's legs have been such a dynamic part of his game this year, how much changes what you're able to do when Hank comes in, and when he comes in, you had a little experience with it last year. How much are you balancing what I want to do with the offense right now and what he's comfortable with, and plays I know he likes to go to?
Yeah, it's a good question because it's different when you have a week to prepare and when it happens in the middle of a game, right? When you have a week to prepare, I have each player, each quarterback, 1, 2, and 3, fill out a form of their favorite plays. And I make my call sheet look like the starting quarterback, but I always keep them in a file. Hope I don't have to ever open up that file, but I did last week. I had to open it up and take Hank's out just to see what his favorites were, on the sheet. And so you try to call a game to make the kid comfortable. Hank is way more athletic than you think. I think he's a different style of runner. He's more on the edge guy than up the middle. Sully was more of an edge guy than up the middle guy. Mark's unique in that he does a good job keeping his shoulder square and working the A gaps, which not a lot of Tebow could do. Not a lot of guys can work the A gaps like quarterbacks at least. Yeah, and then in the game, you're really just thinking, where's he at mentally and how can I make him comfortable? We ran some short passing game, some screens just to try to get him calmed down. I used to not calm down until I got hit when I played. I needed to get hit by somebody and then get up, relax, and start playing, when I was a quarterback. So during a game, you really don't change much of what you're doing. You're just trying to keep him comfortable. And then we got into a 2-minute situation. At that point, you got to go. There's only one way to go. And I thought he did a good job. Missed a couple things. I'm sure, he's going to learn from it. But he also got us a couple first downs, got us across the 50. We just got to finish that drive. We had a couple chances. Sailed the last one a little high. The one before that, he got a little bit confused. I wanted him to take a shot, and he didn't. But that's learning, right? It's first time in there, and he's hungry, and it's been good to see him out there today throwing it again.
First off, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I wanted to follow up with the running backs a little bit.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you guys haven't really had the opportunity to stick with one starting running back every game this year. How does that adjust when you kind of get the word like, okay, we're not going to get Kamari this week, or we're not getting him this week. Okay, this week we're also not going to have X. And how does that change your approach?
It's difficult, right? Because they each have their their fastball, right? You know, like this is what he does best. Because you always try to put guys in the position that they do best. We try it with receivers, like, hey, I need a field post. I know who I want on that route, and I can move that position there. You know, it's made it very intriguing. Personnel-wise, because we've added words to the end to make sure I'm getting the right people in for that play. You know, and some guys are better on the edge, some guys are better in the A gaps. The good thing about our running back room is I feel like they all can do everything, but you still want to keep them in their fastball, right? And like I just said about last week, we really didn't have a grinder, A gap runner. You know, that's his bread and butter. You know, we're playing a team that we kind of needed that. You know, Marks kind of was probably our best big back last week. You know, and we didn't run him. We didn't want to run him much in there, but he did. He scored on one. But it does. It makes it difficult. You know, Coach Young, our new running back coach, has done a great job, and you know, just shuffling them around, trying to keep them comfortable. And one of them is a true freshman, Nate the Great. He's rolling. He's super talented. He's just young. You know, so try to keep him comfortable and not put him in too many situations that get him out of his comfort zone. So it's definitely difficult. The great part is you have a great group, right? That most teams, if they got to their fourth and fifth, would be in huge trouble, and our guys are still able to execute. So that's the silver lining, but it is difficult, and it just takes a little bit more planning on the front end. And then a guy gets hurt in the middle of the game, and all that planning goes out the window quick. And they've made those guys really have done a good job. And Kamari coming back from his first injury, he's really starting to get comfortable. I feel like at the end of the Rutgers game, he really started feeling like he was back. You know, not afraid of the shoulder anymore, running hard, and did a good job in the game against a really good front. So, we were really happy to have that guy of all of them back.
Tyler Tashman
Hey.
with the Des Moines Register. I was curious, the play called the 3rd and 5, Hank was in the game.
Yep.
It was a play right before Drew missed the 42-yarder. Can you just walk through, I think it was a screen pass, just kind of the thought process behind
Oh,
that?
it was there. Yeah, it was a touchdown if we execute it. We went back and forth. You know, his last throw down the field was picked. That went through my head. We were already in field goal range, so I was trying to think what kind of safe call can I have for the quarterback since we're already in field goal range. So we went with kind of a 3-step screen combination, which we ran all game and hit it. I think we hit it 3 times. We never hit the stick. We hit the hitch twice, and we threw the screen once to Kamari. And I forget whose suggestion it was when we were talking about it, but it was the best aggressive, give us a chance to get the first down and end the game, as opposed to dropping them back, you know, and trying to read coverage and split 2 safeties or, you know, something simple that still gives us a legit shot. And we got lucky. They covered the 3-step. They stunted the backside end, which actually gave us a clean lane for the throw. We got 2 linemen out on the will, and there's really nobody left over there. He just kind of fell away, and, you know, the ball got away from him, and he missed the throw, you know. But that was because we had a lot of discussion. I don't know what happened. There was a stoppage of the clock before then, so we had a chance to talk about whether we're going to put him in a position to have to go make a 3rd and 10-yard throw. Running it, we hadn't been super explosive, so there wasn't really. So what's the happy medium of if they give us a quick throw to Weege out there, we'll take it. If not, we'll give a chance to a play that's hit three times. And man, it with the stun, it actually made the throw a little bit easier. You know, we didn't complete it, so we had to kick. You know, but that was the discussion that went through before making that call.
Won't see from KJ again.
Yeah.
KJ Nami had 7 catches this last week. He's got the most by tight end, I think, since he's been here. So has he emerged as maybe, like, with the absence of a Stranga, as maybe the favorite tight end in that room, or a guy who just built a really good connection with Mark?
Yeah, it's just watching him get better on a daily basis has been a lot of fun. High school quarterback, you know, and came in here, never had played, kind of like Reese Vanderzee, like they're just learning a new position. So I mean, the level of growth that a guy like that can have, and you've seen it. He had to put the weight on first. He had to learn how to block, and let me tell you, quarterbacks normally don't naturally do that, but he's learning how to do it. And then obviously we got the screen pass in his hands against Rutgers, and he got in space a little bit. So, you know, what happened in camp, Ort got banged up at some point during camp, which really forced DJ to get a ton of reps and really sped up his growth. So you really got to see that he was ready. You know, he had one drop, came out of the thing. That thing was humming. Mark threw it right on time, and it turned. And but he's never too high. He's never too low. He's a tough kid. He's young. He's going to have a really bright future. You know, so we trust him. You know, and so when we're making play calls to get to get a guy. I mean, Ort can really run after the catch, but DJ just has a great ability with the ball in his hands. So, Coach Hodge gets to choose when I call the play which guy he wants to put there. And on that middle screen against Rutgers, he chose DJ. And gave us all a chance to see what he could do. And we have to continue to find ways to get him in space because he's really good.
Last one, Jeff.
Again, before my follow-up, is it fair to say Gronowski has a shot to play against Wisconsin?
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, it's cloudy, but it's rehabbing. Hopefully, they're all rehabbing. Hopefully,
Last
be
season,
ready.
it looked bad. Regarding the quarterbacks, how's that? What are you trying to get out of this week then with those two guys? Because it is, you might have to play one next week or both.
Or both, right? It's a huge week. I can tell you this about Hank. Hank at the end of spring ball was really humming. Started a little bit slow this camp, and then really started pushing Mark at one point. Once his feet got back to comfortable again. Heck is a great little player now. He's tough. He's got a little swagger to him. He reminds me of like when I played, like a little gunslinger. He's probably aggressive, but he just wasn't here very long, and now he's been here. So it's fun to have two guys that have a ton of talent, that don't have a ton of experience, but they have a ton of talent, and they just need to be around it and hear it. And so today was a lot of fun for both of them to be out there, because as the third stringer, you get no reps. It's just the way it is. And so to see Heck out there today, Hank got a ton of reps too, obviously, but was fun because I think he's a very talented kid. So it's going to be a huge week for us just to let those guys get the reps. Unfortunately, because of the situation we're in, Jimmy and Ryan aren't getting a ton this week. They're getting a ton on the scout team every day. They're down there. They were the Mendoza brothers last week, both of them, and so they're playing a ton. So for us, it's so much fun to see some of these guys. There were some huge plays made out there today. Guys some that were on the scout team, some that have just been kind of rotators, on offensive, pretty much the backup O-line, getting to run the things full speed. And, Heck and, Hank have done a great job of learning from watching Mark. But there's only one way to know if you really learned. You got to get out there and do it. And that's what this week is for. Like I said, we ran a lot of plays today. I think we're going to run a lot more. Really for those two guys, just to get them comfortable no matter what happens, so it's fun to have numbers, and guys. And so it was a good day today, and that's the fun part about a developmental program, but especially during bye week is a huge weekend for a lot of guys to move up, because we're gonna need them, as we go through the stretch.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.